It's the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. We're here to teach the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that we are the Israelites, or who the Bible calls the Hebrews. And today that matters because once we learn who we are, we can begin to change ourselves. I'm saying we can begin to change the light that people see us on or see us with, and you could begin to change the light within yourself. Yesterday was Christopher Columbus Day. Christopher Columbus is said to pioneer the slave trade in America or in the Western Hemisphere. And it's important because our oppressor gives Christopher Columbus his praise. But the Bible, you know what I'm saying, is where Christopher Columbus gets his information from. And the people that Christopher Columbus came to meet was the people in the Bible, which means that you are the intended target of the malice ways or the malicious ways of Christopher Columbus. So we're going to get it out the Bible. We're going to get who were the people that Christopher Columbus encountered. We're going to get how did he get the information to get where he was going. And we're going to get where did Christopher Columbus go when he got there. All right. So we're going to start in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 21. All right. All right, so it's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 21. The interpretation of the vision shall I show thee, and I will open upon thee that thing that thou hast required, whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind. This is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril in that time hath kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith towards the Almighty. Salakia. Mm, 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 mm. All right. I'm gonna drop down. Verse 27. And whereas thou sawest out of his mouth, there came a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. So what we're reading is what Christopher Columbus read. And what he's reading is that the person came out of the sea and they was able to subdue the people of the land. Now, Christopher Columbus in his mind believes he's the person of the sea that's able to subdue the people of the land that he goes to meet. So we're going to keep reading. I just caught y'all up. All right, so verse 28. And he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen, which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, with whom thou sawest a man ascending. Right? So we're gonna get into these books to damn, I should have got the Black Indians to see exactly who Christopher Columbus met. So before we get there, let's read this. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 40. Right? So, okay, let's just read it. Those are the 10 tribes which are carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so it came that they came into another land. But they took this counsel against themselves, that they would leave the multitude of heathen and go forth into further country where never mankind dwelt, that they may have kept their statute, that they may there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered the Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river, for the Most High showed signs for them and held to still the flood that they until they passed over. For though the country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and that same region was called Arsareth. Mind you, the New Testament was rewritten in Greek, so that word Arsareth is spoken about in these books, what the Hebrew word is. All right. So we're gonna go into these books, man. These books really dig into Christopher Columbus and tell us exactly what he was, his true intentions. All right, so let's start here. It's the book Lost Tribes in the Promised Lands by Ronald Sanders. We're gonna go to page 77. All right. So we're gonna start at 77 from the first paragraph. All his life, Columbus' ideas about geography were permeated with a peculiar religious mysticism. He kept a book of prophecies, which is the Bible, in which he collected quotations, right? So he kept a book of prophecies or a book of things that he felt was going to come to pass, right? But he got these prophecies, of course, out the Bible, right? It says right here, in which he called quotations, mostly from the Bible, right? Uh Dowley was one of the writers who convinced the young Columbus that the western route to the Indies must be fairly short. Right? Dowley did not hesitate to try to establish the location of the terrestrial paradise and the marginal notes in Columbus' copy to show consistent interest in his quest. Later on, the notes are more willing to be skeptical about this location for Eden, but Columbus never ceased searching for it and went to his grave believing that his discoveries had brought him close. Right? So here we go. A striking element in Columbus's geographical religiosity in his intense and abiding interest in the second book of Esdras, the two apocryphal books of Esdras purport to be an additional writing by the Old Testament Ezra. Hold on, let me see. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna skip all the fluff. All right. Skip all the fluff. All right, let's just read it. But the second or fourth book is a piece of full-fledged Hellenistic apocryphal writing that was often regarded with suspicions by the church and just as often embraced by the heterodox, which is people that went against the Bible or went against popular belief. Salakia. Augustine had given guarded approval to Esdras' prophetic claims, and much was always to be made of this in the latter defenders, including Columbus. In the marginal notes to Columbus's copy of the Dali is a relative lengthy discourse on Second Esdras 6 and 42, which reads, "Upon the third day thou didst command the waters should be gathered up in the seventh part of the sea. 6 parts hast thou dried up and kept them to the intent that of these some may be planted of God until might serve thee." So he's saying that they got 7 seas and it's like seven continents and 6 waters, right? So he said, "Thou hast gathered up 7 parts of the earth, 6 parts thou hast dried up." So 6 parts of the earth that are land, right, and kept them to the intent that some of these, Salakia, to the intent that of these some being planted of God until might serve thee. So he's saying these lands that the Most High made dry, is got to be work to be done there. So it goes on to say this was often to be cited by Columbus, who argued that since only 1/7 of the world was water, a good deal more dry land yet was remaining to be discovered overseas. But Columbus seemed to have found more in Esdras than just the geographical argument. Here's one of the things he writes about in his marginal notes. All right, it's a quote. "But the prophecy is not accepted by the reprobate Jews, yet it has been accepted by the innumerable ones against them who have believed in the gospel. Israel has thus been split into 2 branches, a division predicted and inevitable by the prophet Samuel to King Saul. The reprobate Jews themselves hold Esdras, that is in the Old Testament Ezra, as a canonical authority." So he's reading that Esdras does have the truth. Esdras does have the knowledge. And Esdras was quoting King Saul and Samuel. So he's saying, if this is in fact scriptures and is just as important as the rest of the Bible, then it has to be truth. So Christopher Columbus is reading our records, following our footsteps to find the people that he believes is the Israelites. Now, granted, this could be his own personal imagination. This could be his own fixation on whatever he was fixed on, right? But he know that he could go overseas and there's going to be people there. First thing, we're going to keep reading about Columbus in this book, right? Esdras' interpretation of the peaceable multitude then goes on to say that the lost tribes entered the Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river, which they were able to ford because the Most High stopped the flow of waters for them, and then traveled another year and a half to a region called Arsareth, evidently a Greek corruption of the Hebrew word Aretz or Aharath, meaning another country. There they were to remain until the latter time. And now, when they shall begin to come, the highest shall spring, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore assaults the multitude with peace. We are already familiar with much of the terrain, right? So Columbus at the beginning had an idea, or he had a inkling that if he follows what this Bible said, if he follows the scriptures, that he can find the people that left the Euphrates and went to this great land, right? So we're gonna go ahead and keep going on. Oh, Salakia. Oh, this book go in. All right. All right. So now, not only did he know who he was going to find there, he knew who to take with him, right? So we're going to get into these books. He knew to take an Israelite. He knew to take brothers with him that spoke Hebrew, scholars that spoke Hebrew. We're going to get into it. But why did he take people that spoke Hebrew? Why did he take Israelites with him on purpose? He took scholars. Now, mind you, this is 1500s. This is 1400s, 1492. This ain't biblical times. This is 1500 years after Christ passed away, or let's say allegedly 1400 years after Christ passed away. It's still people that spoke Hebrew in 1492. We're going to read it. It said, we do not know much concerning Columbus's crew of about 90 men aboard the 3 ships, but at least one of them was an Israelite. Once again, this is the book Lost Tribes in the Promised Land, and I'm on page 92, to the bottom, towards the bottom. We do not know much concerning Columbus's crew of about 90 men aboard these 3 ships, but at least one of them was an Israelite, whose presence as such was not merely accidental. This was Luis de Torres. Mind you, these people came from Spain. Now, Rome, I'm sorry, like Paul and the apostles that rode with Christ was trying to get the Gentiles out of the other country or the other lands. It's like it was trying to get the Jews out of the land of the Gentiles after Christ died. So now 1400 years later, you better believe that these brothers is fully into the land of the Gentiles. They fully picked up the armor of Spain and England and whatever the case may be. Granted, they may speak Hebrew, but they are fully clothed in the doctrine of Spain, kind of like we are in America today, right? So this brother name was Luis de Torres, but he spoke Hebrew. He was an Israelite. Let's keep going. A convert of possibly a year, who had once held the position with the governor Murcia. He has said to have known Hebrew, Aramaic, and some Arabic, or some like Arabic, and had been bought by Columbus specifically as an interpreter. One of the purposes of the voyage, as we have seen, was to find Great Khan. And so, like I know from Mortal Kombat, Khan is the person, the king. You feel what I'm saying? Khan, like uh what's his name? Shao Kahn. I mean, he ran the joint. And you had Mortal Khan, who was the king. The Khan mean king. I mean, so just using context clues, that was the great Khan was the great king of that time. You know what I'm saying? And Torres was to be the mouthpiece for this encounter, presumably on the basis of his Hebrew. Perhaps Columbus and his supporters had decided that the great Khan reported on by Marco Polo, which was a previous explorer, and others might be the great Israelite king. It's like it might be the Israelite king who dwelt across the river from Prester John. All right, believe us. We're gonna need this. So there had been rumors and indications among these people encountered of the natives of the islands that they were fierce, warlike. I'm gonna just sum it up. So Columbus thought that he was going to run into people that was cannibals. He thought he was going to run into people that was, beefed up. They was bulky, you know what I'm saying? They eat people and, you know what I'm saying? They just was warlike and uncivilized. The word Indian means uncivilized or scavenger. So he thought he was going to run into, you know what I mean, just the most uncivilized of people. But that's not what he saw. We're going to read it. There had been rumors and indications among the peoples encountered of the natives of the island who were fierce and warlike and who ate human flesh, but none of them appeared in person on his first voyage. I did not find, Columbus writes, any bestial men among them, and some of us had expected, as some of us had expected, but on the contrary, the men were great difference in kindness, right? So we speak a little bit more on that, but we'll get into that later. This book also says that when he got there, or later on, the people that traveled across this great river, when he encountered them, or when people encountered them, they spoke Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? On page 363, I believe, they said, Yahweh Allahayana wa Yahweh Ka. You know what I'm saying? When the people tried to speak to the Indians, they spoke Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? And these Hebrew interpret and these people that are supposed to interpret Hebrew, you know what I'm saying, they picked it up. And it was like, damn, he's speaking Hebrew. All right. So let me make sure there ain't nobody online. You got any questions? Ask them online. I'm gonna get in the chat real quick. So lock it. Give me a second. All right. You got any questions? Ask them online. So let's get this book started in the West. Once again, we proven that when Christopher Columbus got to America, who he encountered were the Israelites. It was the people of the Bible, the people in Second Esdras, the same people that was in the Persian captivity, the same people that was under Moses, the same people that was in Egypt, the same people that, you know what I'm saying, that Christopher Columbus meant to enslave. So when he got there, he found Israelites. You know what I'm saying? This goes into the 12 tribe breakdown. If you got a 12 tribe breakdown, put this into all these books, make sure it's in your 12 tribe breakdown. When he met the people that we know today as the tribe of Manasseh. He landed on the island of Hispaniola, and it tells you in what city in one of these books, right? Tell you what city he landed on in. You know what I'm saying? And when he got there, he just bought. We're gonna read about it. We're gonna read about it. We're gonna read about it. And this is important because you need to know who you are. If you Black, Hispanic, or Native American, these books prove exactly who you are. You should know that you're a Native American. You should know it's like you should know that you're Israelite based on the fact that you was a Native American, or based on the fact that you was here when Christopher Columbus brought you here. If you belong to the slave trade in any type of way, then you were an Israelite. You are an Israelite, and that's proof. It's documented. If your family was in the slave trade, you are Israelite. This book talk about the Maroons in Jamaica and how the Maroons are the Spaniards was trying to enslave them, and they just start fleeing into the woods. The word Maroon means runaway, and today they became the people that I believe they call them the Rastafari. You feel what I'm saying? But they used to be the Maroons, the people that went into the mountains and started their own culture. You feel what I'm saying? There was so many runaways that they outnumbered the Spaniards and kicked them off the island. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this book belongs to us, man. These scriptures, these records belong to us. So I'm gonna read what they got in Star in the West. All right. All right, this Star in the West, page 110. Our southern Indians have also a tradition among them, which they firmly believe of the old time. Their ancestors lived beyond the great river, that 9 parts of their nation out of 10 passed over the river. Now, this is a Star in the West. Now, they ran into a Native American, right? And it said, our southern Indians have also a tradition among them, that which they firmly believe that of old time their ancestors lived beyond the great river, that 9 parts of their nation out of 10 passed over the river, but the remainder refused and stayed behind. That they had a king when they lived far off the west who left 2 sons, right? And we're going to drop down. It said among other principles or beloved men that when they have it handed down from their ancestors, the book which the white people have was once theirs. So the Bible that Christopher Columbus and them brought with him, that Bible that he traveled with, that he brought to America, he said that book was once our book, right? Now it says, on their way, they came to a great river which they could not pass, right? It said, and God dried up the waters, and they passed over dry shod. This is what the Indians are telling the story of how they got there, right? Now this is from their records. They not pulling it out the book. They just saying this is a folk tale to them, right? They also say that their forefathers were possessed by an extraordinary divine spirit by which they foretold future events and controlled the common course of nature. And this they transmitted to their offspring on condition of their obeying the sacred laws. What laws are they obeying? Where did they get laws from? They're sacred laws from the divine being when they crossed over the great river. And it was a nation of them, 10 of them, but one of them stayed, and the other sons didn't come. I mean, you tell me who this is talking about. Christopher Columbus knew who he was coming to get. Now, Christopher Columbus was great in the mind of our oppressor. He was great in the eyes of our oppressor. He did wonderful things. He left his country and came to another country. You feel what I'm saying? He found land for Spain. He found land for their people, and he was able to expand their country. The bad part about it is it was at our expense. And it was so wicked because the things they did to us was vile. We're going to show you what the people was like when they got there. All right. So when he got to this land, we're going to tell you exactly what they look like when he got here. This is a book called The Riddle and Rediscovery of the Last Civilization, Maya, by Charles Gallenkamp. Right? So we're going to show you exactly what it was like when he got here to America, or to this side of the earth. Right? We're gonna start right here. It says, and I'm gonna try to skip the fluff, but there's so much stuff in this book, man. There's so much stuff in these books. It's so much information. You know what I mean? So, but I'm gonna try to skip and give you the good parts, right? So, as nor did the Spaniards suspect that this conflict will result in destruction of the last vestiges of the most brilliant civilization ever known in pre-Columbian America. Now, this is the Mayan civilization. So, this is around where present-day Yucatan Peninsula. This is about Cortez, though. Cortez was another what you call them? People that sell the earth. Explorer. It was another explorer. He got to Yucatan Peninsula and found this great kingdom. Yucatan Peninsula, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, all of that area is where the Mayans dwelt. I'm going to tell you about how the Mayans looked. When the conquistadors encountered the Yucatan, the heart of the Mayan realm, it was intriguing enough. Populous cities filled with ornate palaces, temples raised on terraced pyramids, open courtyards, thriving markets, paved stone roads. They were met with chieftains and priests bedecked in jaguar skin skirts, bright feather capes, elaborate headdresses, a headdress. They had headpieces on, elaborate headpieces, and jewelry made of jade, gold, and shell. The shell was off of the back of tortoises, right? On the battlefield, the Spaniards faced hordes of lavishly arrayed warriors. So they was not just warriors, they was fly, kind of like Solomon spoke about his people. Solomon had rolls of gold in his mouth, and his men was so fly you couldn't even tell who the king was. So not only was they warriors, they was lavish. They was fly warriors, right? Outfitted with cotton armor, leather, and tortoise shell shields, plumed banners, lances, bows and arrows, and obsidian tipped clubs. Astounded by these wondrous sights, the famous chronicler Bernal Diaz commented, "We felt we felt we felt well content at having discovered such a country." They was cool. That was like, damn. They was surprised when they got here. They thought they was going to see barbarians. They thought they was going to see people eating each other. But when they got here, Salakia, hold on, let me keep going. Right? Unknown to the Spaniards, however, they were witnessing the final glimmer of far greater glories. At least thousands of years earlier, the Mayans had emerged from shadowy origins to begin a steady climb towards what eventually became a civilization characterized by monumental architecture, superlative works of art, thriving trade networks, a system of writing, mathematics, highly accurate calendar, and a substantial body of astrological knowledge. Astrological knowledge. And powerful elite classes who ruled over huge cities, right? All of which comprised one of the most original expressions of human ingenuity ever, right? So they had maps, Mesoamerica. It said they were so far advanced they had breath mints. Breath mints. So Columbus thought that he was coming to a place where it was just a bunch of knuckleheads, a bunch of people running around butt naked. But no, they had a law, they had cities, they had order, they had mathematics, they had science, they had astrology, they had calendars, they had breath mints. You feel what I'm saying? So when Christopher Columbus got here, he should have just left them alone. He should have just said, "Damn, I didn't know y'all was so far past us." They called it a great civilization. He should have said, "Damn, I'm gonna leave y'all alone." You feel what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just go back to my stinking country. But no, our oppressor being the man he is, we're gonna read about what he did when he got here, right? We're gonna read about what Columbus did when he got here. This is from Columbus to Castro, The History of the Caribbean by Eric Williams. And we're gonna turn to page 31. Right? Page 31. Columbus had sailed to Guinea in the Portuguese merchant marine. It's like Columbus had sailed to Guinea in the Portuguese merchant marine and had acquired a personal experience of the slave trade. His long residence in Portugal and his years in Spain had given him also a familiarity with slavery and with Negro slavery. On arrival in the West Indies, therefore, he naturally turned his attention to both. On arrival in the West Indies, which is where we were, we just read about it. When he got there, therefore, or them, the Spaniards, he naturally turned his attention to instituting both a slave trade and slavery, which is two different things. So he's saying, we're going to take these people and ship them out, right? And we're going to take these people and make them our slaves. So not only is he going to make them slaves, he's going to profit off them. He's going to benefit off them. You feel what I'm saying? So he gets to a land and he just sees destruction. He sees carnage. He sees blood, pillaging, murder, destruction. He sees what our oppressor normally sees. They don't get to a country and they have compassion on the people that's there. They don't think about the people that's there like, damn, this is somebody's mother, somebody's brother, this is somebody's uncle, somebody's aunt. They don't think about none of that. All they see is destruction. And we got in these books how destruct. Matter of fact, on your own time, just look up the Spanish Inquisition. That's how wicked Spain was. America had nothing on the Spaniards. In one of these books, they've been doing that. They said if you found in 1500s, they said if you find a runaway slave, cut off his nose or his ear to identify him. That's how they was identifying us. That's in one of these books. Cut off his nose or his ear to identify him. That's what Spain was doing. So damn, Toby got his foot cut off. I mean, at least he ain't cut his nose off. God damn. Like Spain was wicked as hell. Wicked as hell. You feel what I'm saying? And America or the English had nothing on the carnage of Spain. So we're gonna keep reading about the Spaniards and the conquistadors. Which, so like let's get the definition of conquistador. I believe it means to conquer. Conquistador. Conquistador means conqueror. So the Spaniards were called conquistadors, which means conquerors. All right. So where's we at? On his arrival in the West Indies, therefore, he naturally turned his attention to instituting both a slave trade and slavery. Gold, as the Spaniards recognized, did not grow on trees. They needed labor. He considered, so when he got there, he considered them timid and unwarlike, which was what we just read, right? He said that the people were, he thought they was going to be, I mean, abrasive or harsh. But when he got there, they wasn't. They was cool. They was like, oh, okay, it's another person. Because they didn't have they didn't have that spirit in their heart. The spirit that we get from our oppressor is gang banging. We get drug dealing. The same spirit that we get to destroy our community is the spirit that we get from our oppressor. Columbus brought it to us again. You feel what I'm saying? And today we have this idea of how do we get so bad? We got bad because we want to be like them. They do the things that the Most High hates. Birthdays is something that the Most High hates, and they make it a big thing. Christmas, holidays are things that the Most High hates. They make it a big thing. Breaking the laws, like the Seven Sons and the Maccabees, they make it a big thing. They want us. They make sure we break the laws. It's imperative to them that we fight. Like we brought out last week with the Willie Lynch letters. It's imperative to them that we fight and we act just like them because they are our adversary. They are Shaitan on earth, the devil that the Bible speaks of. You feel what I'm saying? So knowing who this person is and where this behavior comes from, that's how we can fix our problem. You gotta first be able to identify it. You see World War III about to kick off right now. Now, when that happens, which side are you going to be on? Are you going to be on the side with the Most High? Or are you going to be on the side with your oppressor? The person that's going to make you sin, make you break the laws of the Most High, make you kill each other, force you to do the work that's going to make him better because he don't give a damn about none of us. He don't care about the young or the old. He don't care if you sick, if you weak. Like Amalek when we was trying to walk through that field, through Esau field. They don't care if you sick or weak, old or young. I don't care if you fat or skinny. They don't care about none of that. They just want money. That's it. That's it. And that's why when the tempter came to Satan and told him to live off bread, he said, I can't live off bread alone. Because that's how Esau lives. He only lives off what he can see, what's tangible. But our power is not tangible. Our power is supernatural. We're going to keep reading. All right. He considered them timid and unwarlike, ignorant of Spanish weapons. They had no idea what Spain was coming with. They didn't know what Spain was coming with. They didn't know about the Spanish Inquisition. They had torture chambers where there's something called a rack. They put your arm inside of bars and put your leg inside of bars and keep twisting, and it'll pull you apart until it break your spine. They had a John where you sit is like a dog kennel. You sit in the dog kennel like this in in the squat stance, and there's spikes underneath you. So if you fall down, then you would die. But you had to sit above the spikes, you know what I'm saying, until you get tired. And once you get tired, that's when you die. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so wicked. It's so wicked. We had no idea what they was coming with, right? We was ignorant of Spanish weapons. 10,000 of them would not stand up before 10 Spaniards, which is what Christopher Columbus is saying. He's saying it could be 10,000 of them, and they couldn't stand up to 10 of us. He is the devil. What did he say? He said, your pride have consumed thee. That's what the scriptures say. Your pride have consumed thee. And that's absolutely perfect to explain Esau. Pride is prideful as hell. Proud and hubris as they could be, right? And he was of the opinion that with the small force at his disposal, he could overrun all the islands without opposition. So that he continued, they are good to be ordered about, to work and to sow, and do all that may be necessary. There was some doubt in his mind, however, as to whether they should be kept in captivity in the West Indies or transported back to Spain or Castile, which was why they call their version of Spanish Castilian, right? He decided to take a few over to Spain to teach them the language. He deliberately included women, right? Because he said before the Portuguese did not include women and they all died off. They took only men and they all died, right? So we're going to drop down to the last paragraph. It says, as the years went by, Columbus more and more adopted the view that the real riches of the West Indies lay in their Indian population. The people was the riches of the land of the West Indies. It wasn't none of that. It wasn't none of the gold that they found, or the jade, or the silver, or the diamonds, or whatever they found. None of that was more important or more valuable than the people, right? He saw in the cannibalism of the Caribs a pretext for their enslavement. He described them as wild people fit for any work, well proportioned, very intelligent, and who, when they got rid of their cruel habits to which they have been accustomed, will be better than any other kind of slaves. On his third voyage in 1498, he shipped 600 Indians back to Spain. The slave trade in the Caribbean thus began outward. Christopher Columbus got to our land where he met the Israelites. He met beautiful people. People that if you took 10 men and stood up to 10,000 of them, they would still show you compassion. They had no malice in their heart. No, they had no reason to be malice. You feel what I'm saying? He took those people and wiped them out. They said it was over about 3 million people in the island of Hispaniola. When Columbus got done, it was only 300,000. He wiped out almost 3 million people by arriving. Not only did they do that, they brought diseases, they brought slavery, they brought hell. They literally brought the devil with them. You feel what I'm saying? Satan is alive and thriving. Satan is the man that you work for. Satan is the man that you wake up to go build this country. You feel what I'm saying? You slave for Satan, just like we slave for Satan in 1650. It's like 1490. You know what I'm saying? We slave to Satan to this day. We've been slaving for our oppressor since 1480. And it matters because when are we going to wake up? When are we going to decide enough is enough? We celebrate Columbus Day. We don't celebrate it, but we see Columbus as a forefather of America or the Western Hemisphere. But we don't know exactly what he did. And why does it matter to us? Today, we just walk around and we don't even know what a black culture is. They give us our culture. They tell us what to like. They tell us what to think. They tell us who to be. They tell us where to go and what time to go to sleep and what time to wake up. And I mean, how many days can we have off? You feel what I'm saying? We get told so much by our oppressor that we don't know who we are. But guess what, man? It's right here in these scriptures. And these books help us understand exactly who we are. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. This is Slavery, a World History by Milton Meltzer. This is part 2, page 89. It was Spanish policy to send poor whites from home to colonize the islands, but they were mainly soldiers, not peasants or workers. The colonists tried to spare themselves from hard labor by placing the heaviest burdens on the enslaved Indians. So our oppressor was trying to save themselves from working by putting the labor on us, right? When the Spaniards discovered enough gold in Cuba to make mining profitable, they forced the Indians into mines. Stunned by their ferocity of the Spaniards' hunt for gold, the Indians thought that the strangers, our oppressor, worshiped metal as a supernatural power. The semi-nomadic people were not conditioned to such toils. So we didn't work like that. We weren't built like that. We was chilling. And so when they pull up, remember it said Judah is a man of the tent. It's like Jacob was a man of the tent. We was chilling when they pulled up. I mean, we chilling. We drinking the whatever we was drinking. You know what I mean? Watching whatever we was watching, doing whatever we was doing, and they pull up on the boat and see gold in the earth and make us work. They make us go get their gold and whip us and cut our faces off and, you know what I'm saying, cut our nose off and our ears, cut our foot off and beat our backs and rape our, like abuse our women and make us go dig metal. And so they said they thought the metal contained supernatural power. It had to for us to work this hard. Like, what are we working for? You got us dying in the field, then give you rocks. They give you metal? What are you talking about? It's crazy, right? But the semi-nomadic people were not conditioned to such toil. Unable to withstand it and succumbing easily to European epidemics that swept the island, the Indians died off in great numbers. They was calling us Indians, but we know that it's Native Americans. We died off in great numbers. You know what I'm saying? My goal tonight is to paint a picture of who Columbus was, exactly what he did for us as a people. We know what he did for America. We all learned that in college, in high school. We know what he did for America. Congratulations. Congratulations to what he did for America. But what he did to us was wicked. Absolutely wicked. All right, we're gonna keep going. What we got? That book Black Indians got some good stuff in it, but I forgot the book Black Indians. Um so we're gonna go back to scriptures. Second Ezra 6:42. All right. It's the book of Second Ezra, chapter 6. Let's start at verse 40. Then commandest thou a fair light to come. Start at 38. And I said, O Lord, thou speakest from the beginning of creation, even the first day, and saidest thus, let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work. And then was the spirit, and darkness and silence were on every side. The sound of man's voice was not yet formed. Then commanded thou a fair light to come forth of thy treasures, that thy work might appear. Upon the second day, thou madest the spirit of the firmament, and commanded it to part asunder, and to make division betwixt the waters, that one part might go up, and the other part remaineth beneath. Upon the third day, thou didst command the waters should be gathered in the seventh part of the earth. 6 parts thou hast dried up, and kept them, to the intent that of some of these be planted of the Most High, until until might serve thee. For as soon as thy word went forth, the work was made. So this is what Christopher Columbus is reading. He like, damn, it's a big river between the two lands. It's 6 parts of land, but it's a big river between them. What is this river? So as he reads further, he finds proof of where the river is. He just followed the breadcrumbs that we left. Why can't we do that? Why can't we see what the breadcrumbs are? Why can't we see that the Israelites are in fact the Hebrews, which are in fact the Negroes in America? Why was he able to know that the people that was on the other side of that river were Israelites? And we don't know today. We don't know today because we was wiped out by a culture. And in order for their history to stand, ours has to fall. I want you to know today, black man, that you are an Israelite. According to the Bible, you are the chosen people of the Most High. You are the people who the Lord called to be his princes and his prophets, the priests and the prophets, and the daughters of Zion, the people called to save the earth from the people that came here to wipe us out, the people that came to cause the earth to be wicked, the people that caused sin to run rampant on the earth. Death comes from us following after our oppressor. Death comes from us following the belief that we won't be punished for our sins. We won't have consequences for the things that we do. But we should know that there's consequences for everything. There's consequences for us as a people, as opposed to just us individually. Christ made a decision so many years ago, and that decision that Christ made affects us today. Adam made a decision so many years ago, and that decision affects us today. It's time for you to make a decision, black man. It's time for you to decide who you want to be. What you gonna do with the children that come after you, or the men that come beneath you, or you know what I'm saying, or the men that come up after you, or the women or the children that come up after you. What are we gonna do for them? Do we keep living in perpetuity in this hellhole? Do we keep living in a place that calls us niggas and spicks and like Negroes and spicks and wetbacks and, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to say the word. You know what I'm saying? Just they call us beasts. We live in our carnality. You feel what I'm saying? They call us, you know what they call us. We live by any byword, any proverb. We just niggas in the hood. You know what I'm saying? What are we going to be besides thugs? What are we going to be besides criminals and drug dealers and drug addicts? What can we be besides good employees, good slaves? It's time for us to decide what we want to be, brother. You know what I'm saying? And what you could be is a priest and prophet of the Lord. Somebody that teach the most, somebody that teach the people, the Most High's people, who they are. How do we get out of captivity? Because I tell you what, if we knew who our oppressor was back then, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be living in hell right now if we knew who the oppressor was back then. But we didn't teach the children then who our oppressor was. We didn't teach them who Esau was. So when Esau showed up at our doorstep, we had no idea that the devil was showing up at our doorstep. But here in the UPK, you're going to learn who the devil is. So when he shows up at your doorstep, you know to close the damn door. Close the door. That's why we destroyed for lack of knowledge. We didn't know who the oppressor was. We didn't know who the devil was. And the devil, man, he causes us to you know what I'm saying? The devil causes us to, you know what I mean, to sin against the Most High. And by us sinning against the Most High, we lose our honor. We lose our salt. What is salt with no flavor? It's nothing. You know what I mean? You lose your salt. You give your salt to the oppressor. We give our flavor to the oppressor. And now America benefits from your greatness, from our greatness. America benefits from who we are as a people. And now they reap the benefits of us in slavery. Come on, brother. Columbus Day is a lie. And the holidays of our oppressor is just wiping it in our face. So not only did they get here and see the people, now this is all about the Caribbean. We ain't even get to North America. But them wiping us out as Native Americans is where you get Thanksgiving holiday from. Now we think Thanksgiving is it just comes out of nowhere. But the turkey was represented by Native Americans before it was a staple of America. The turkey didn't just come out of nowhere. The turkey was what the Native Americans had. That's how that was their symbol. And now we was, how can I put this? It was so much carnage, so much abusing. What's the words I can use? They killed us so much. They wiped us out so much. They had a holiday, or they had a what you call it? A celebration for every one war. So if they had 31 wars, they won the war in Native America 30 times over. They had 30 days to celebrate. Instead, what's his name? Abraham Lincoln made it one day to celebrate the death of the Native Americans, the winning of America, or of the colonists over the people that was already here. That's Thanksgiving, and that's what we celebrate. That's why Thanksgiving has come up right at the Columbus Day. It's on purpose. They know what they're doing. They know that we're going to serve our oppressor, and we're going to make sure that our brothers that died for us, or the brothers that died in order to have this thinking country, are never remembered. Never remembered. We don't think of them. We don't honor them. We don't keep up their beliefs. Nothing. We just destroy people. We destroy. You know what I'm saying? So, only way we could come back to the Most High, only way we could come back from our hell is to read these scriptures. Learn from the men how to read the scriptures. Get the priests and prophets, the men that study, the men that do this every day. They teach you how to read these scriptures. Go home and read, because that's how you free yourself. We destroy for a lack of knowledge, and we don't know who we are, and that's why we sitting here in this hell that we in. That's why we going to jail by the numbers that we go to jail. That's why we working day in and day out. You feel what I'm saying? And we living in hell because we don't know who we are. All right. Drop that. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28. Shout out to the one person that's watching. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. One person is probably me. That's crazy. And I'm cool with that, because the Lord said that the road to narrow is the path. That path ain't gonna be wide. That path ain't gonna have too many people on it. So I'm comfortable with one person watching this joint. Because if it's 50, 60, 70, 80 people on it, you know what I'm saying? Something ain't right. You know what I mean? Something ain't right, because why is so many people trying to get the truth at one time? I would call it a fluke. You know what I mean? So shout out to that one person watching. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far off. Now, once again, this is the curses of Israel. So Deuteronomy 28:1 says, it shall come to pass, if thou hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, the Lord God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. But 15 says, but it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy God, to observe and do all his commandments and the statutes I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So if you read down in the curses, one of the curses in Deuteronomy 28:49 says, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far off, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. And that's what we just read. Christopher Columbus was trying to get us to go back to Spain and learn Spanish. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to get us to learn Spanish or his language here on earth. I mean, here on the western side. He bought people that was able to interpret um Spanish or interpret um Hebrew. I'm gonna read it right here. So, give me 1 second. All right, so here we go. This is Lost Tribes in the Promised Land again by Ronald Sanders. We're on page 364. And those Indians, he told himself, they are Hebrews, pondering this thought incredulously, and yet with growing conviction. He resolved that he resolved that if he ever were released, he would seek out an Indian Francisco and try to learn the truth. So he like, damn, if I could get back, I'm gonna learn exactly who the people are. He knew that it was the Indians were Hebrews. So all right, boom. Uh so they came to a river, right? Waving a banner on high, the Indian god was soon greeted by a puff of smoke far beyond the other bank of the river. In response to his signal, two men waved. Eventually, a canoe appeared, bearing three men and a woman, all of them Indians, to place to the place where Francisco and Montezinos were, standing at the edge of the water. The woman got off and spoke to Francisco in the Indian tongue, right? That Montezinos could not understand, although he could perceive that he was being identified in the conversation. So he like, I don't know what you're saying, but I know you're talking to me, right? She then turned to her male companion to explain the situation. Upon hearing her words, they rose, went over to Montezinos to his utter astonishment and said, Shemai, Yisrael, Adonai, Elohenu, Adonai Ehad. Hear, O Lord, so hear, O Israel, the Lord of our God, the Lord is one. We know in our Hebrew it says Shemai Yasha Allah, Allah how it's like Shemai Yasha Allah, Allah how it's like Shemai Yasha Allah, Yahweh Allah Hayanabu wa Yahweh Akkad, right? So we know that they saying the Most High, the Lord our God is one. Yahweh Allah Hayanabu wa Yahweh Akkad, right? They recited in Hebrew the fundamental credo of the Jews, right? So when he got there, these people were speaking Hebrew, man. They came from afar off to people speaking Hebrew. They brought Israel or Israelites to understand the Hebrew that they spoke. They knew that the Israelite king was over here in America. They knew exactly who we were. They knew that when they got to America, they were going to see Indians or Native Americans, and those Native Americans were the Israelites. And they knew that when they go to Africa, because we got the records, we got the records. They know that when they go to Africa, they can find Israelites, the same people, because they found this all on the other side of the earth. They know that if they find the Israelites, they find the Lord's people, they make good slaves. Why do they know that? Because we were slaves in Egypt. And Egypt reigned for 400, 500 years. Egypt was a superpower for 500 years because of who they had in slavery. Right? So let's get Lamentations. Lamentations chapter 5, verse 12. Salakia. Damn, I just missed that, John. Bear with me. All right, Book of Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 12. All right, let's just read this whole verse. in this whole chapter, right? Jeremiah's prayer to the Most High, right? Lamentations mean our calamities, our hell. So he said, "Remember, O Lord, what is to come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach." Right? Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. So the things that we had, the things that we're supposed to get from the Most High, remember the things that we did. Remember the trouble that we got into, right? And our heritage, or the things that were supposed to be given to us, our commandments, our statutes, our laws. Strangers got them. America has our culture. The Bible is they say that that's our oppressor's book. It belongs to them. Our culture belongs to the little heads. They rock our fringes. They say that this book belongs to them. They say that the people that we come from are their people. This shield is, they said this shield is theirs, right? Our heritage is turned to strangers. Our houses to aliens. Our families are ruled by our oppressors. Salakia, like it just it just it's literally limitations. It's sad because we live in the land of our oppressor, and our family doesn't even belong to us. Our family, they could take your family away at any given moment, just like they would in slavery. They'll sell us away at any given moment. Today they could come lock us up any given moment. They don't even gotta give us a reason. You just be locked up, took into the prison house, and you just there. Or your kids could be taken by DHS and just be there, or your woman can go out into the streets and become a drug addict or whatever. Or you could go out, or the brother go out the street become a drug addict. At any given moment, our house belongs to them. The aliens, people we don't even know, people we don't even understand. It's obvious that we just totally different people. But our house, our family, and our house belongs to them. We at their will, their beck and call. They put on a commercial and we go. They say join the army, we go. They say go sell these drugs and we go. We belong to them, right? Our inheritance is turned to strangers. Our houses to aliens. We turn to the aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are widows. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. We pay for our own water. We pay for water. Wood is being sold to us. We buy this stuff. We buy things that come off a tree. We buy regular things that we should just be able to get for free. We gotta go buy it now. We gotta buy toilet paper if you want to wipe your behind. You know what I mean? The simple things we gotta pay for. They own it because it belongs to them. Our necks are under persecution, as George Floyd. Our necks are under persecution. We labor. We have no rest. That's Salaga. I couldn't say that no better. We have no rest. We labor every day. Every day we working. We come home tired. We still do the things that's required of us. We still do the things that we have to do as men, as women, as children. We still do the things that are required of us, but we tired because we working every day. For what? Like, why do we work every day? Bills, expectations, our own ambitions, our own goals, our own drive, right? We working because we want to be somebody. We working because we want to do something. But why should you have to work? You are somebody. Why do we think it's better on the other side of the earth? Because it's so bad here. They destroyed our land so much that we become refugees in our own land. We got to go seek asylum to somewhere else because they destroyed our place so bad. And we find peace and happiness somewhere else. That's why we need money. You can't afford to live. Rent is retarded. Groceries is retarded. We can't afford to live. Our necks are under persecution and we labor and have no rest, right? We have given the hand to the Egyptians and we have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread, right? We give our hand, we give everything we got to be satisfied for our hunger. We hungry, so we give our last penny. You give up your hand to eat. Well, we will give up our hand to eat. You feel what I'm saying? We work hard as hell to make sure that our kids eat. You give up your hand to make sure your kids eat. You'll give up your hand to make sure your significant other eat, or your mom if she hungry, or your dad if they're hungry. We'll give our last to make sure that we eat. But food is abundant. It should be ours. It should be there. But we gave it to the oppressor. We gave them the power when we let them into our land, when we let them into our mind, when we let them into our house, our family. We give them the power to wipe us out, to control us, damn near to just have dominion over our whole family. We give it to them, right? Our fathers have sinned and are not. They are sinned and they're not here no more. They dead, right? Our fathers have sinned and are not. When Lamentations chapter 5, verse 7. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. Our fathers, I don't even know my great-grandfather. He passed away. You know what I'm saying? But the iniquities or the hell that he put whatever his family through, we carry it today. We carry the trauma. We carry the drama, the generational trauma today. Is what the hell that we got to live in is come down from our fathers. We carry them iniquity. We carry that hell with us today. It says, our father have sinned and we have borne their iniquities. Servants have ruled over us. Servants. Esau is a servant. Esau is not made to be a ruler. Esau is not made to be anybody, but they rule over us with an iron fist, right? That's why they rule so wicked, because they don't know how to do it. They don't know what a true ruler is. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what it's like to have rulership. You can't give a peasant rulership because they make the people mourn. You feel what I'm saying? They abuse their power. And that's what we got with Esau. Esau abuses his power. You know what I'm saying? Servants have ruled over us, and there is none that doth deliver us. Ain't nobody gonna come save us from our hell. Africans gonna come save us? No. Who gonna come save us out of our captivity? No man is gonna save us out of our captivity. Luckily, we got Commander YAHANNA because he saved me out of my captivity. He saved me out of the hell that we've been through, and hopefully he saved you too. You feel what I'm saying? Somebody coming to save you. It's the men of these Bible. It's like it's the men in the Bible, the men of the Bible. That's who coming to save you. The people that you don't want to listen to is coming to save you. They're gonna tell you what you don't want to hear. That's love. You know what I mean? The people that love you is gonna be the people that you hate, right? Nobody coming to save us, right? There is none that doth deliver us out of their hand. We got our bread with the peril of our lives. We go into danger to get a bare necessity like water. We die and kill for money. We get time over money. You know what I'm saying? We get into all kind of wickedness over money so we can eat, so we can put food on the table. A lot of times you come back home and you're like, what you do to get this? Don't ask about it. Don't even worry about it. Just eat. You feel what I'm saying? What did you have to do to get this? How you get this money? Don't worry about it. Just do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? That's the life that we live. We go into danger for money. Verse 9, it says, we got our bread with the peril of our lives because of the sword of the wilderness. They outside ready to kill you, right? And we go into the danger to maneuver in the danger just to get bread, right? The hell of outside is ready to swallow you whole, but we go outside just so we can get some bread to bring back home. That's the life we live in, right? Our skin was black like an oven because of our terrible famine, right? Now, our skin is absolutely black, but it gets blacker. It gets darker because we outside trying to find food. My skin gets blacker because I'm in the sun all day trying to work. I get blacker. My skin gets black because I'm burnt with the heat from being outside. I'm hungry. So I got to go outside to get some money, to get some food because we being starved in America. We got bills to pay. You work for a week And after you get done paying all your bills, it's like you never even worked. You got to work double time, overtime, just to pay the bills. Like, come on, like that don't even make sense. But that's how we gotta live, right? They ravished the women of Zion and the maids in the cities of Judah. They ravish our women. They got them dancing on poles and you feel what I'm saying? And Lord forgive women like Glorilla and you know what I'm saying, whatever they got going on. You feel what I'm saying? Because our women have been ravished. They become something else. Hoes. You know what I'm saying? And bitches. You know what I'm saying? Shameless women. Let's go like that. They become shameless women. Because they try to be just as independent as male should be. You feel what I'm saying? They're in competition with the man. I can make more money than you. I could take care of the house better than you. I could raise children better than you. And you have a woman that's ready to compete with the man. You feel what I'm saying? When it shouldn't have to be none of that. The man's role is the man's role. The woman's role is the woman's role. You feel what I'm saying? Ain't a woman shouldn't have to chop down the tree to go make firewood. She shouldn't have to do that. That's his job. You know what I'm saying? His job is to protect the house and go get the things for the house to thrive and survive. And of what like we getting hung things. We getting hung to hold on to it, right? We're trying to hold on, right? We hung by our hands or hang by their hand. The faces of the elder were not honored. So we see our old men, the men, our OGs, the men that are supposed to be giving us the game. We don't honor them. We don't give them no respect. We like, what's up, old head? Call them old head. Old, I mean, the old man, or I mean, you see him on the corner, you don't give him no respect. Or if you see him in a suit, you still don't give him no respect. You see him driving a bus, you don't give him no respect. We don't honor the old. Like we, as even as women see older women, they don't give them the respect. They don't ask them, you know what I'm saying, for information and knowledge that whatever wealth is trapped in their head. They don't care. We don't have no honor in our old as blacks and Spanish. Verse 13. Wood, right? It took the young men to be grounded down, and the children fell under the wood. The elders have ceased from the gate, right? The young men from their music. The joy of our heart is ceased. Our dance is turned in the morning. The crown is falling from their head. We lost our power. We lost our rulership. We lost our spirit in America. You know what I'm saying? Our children, they don't sing and dance the way they once did. You feel what I'm saying? They're not at the gate no more. They're not doing the things that made us happy. You feel what I'm saying? We getting buried under this, buried under America. You feel what I'm saying? We falling under this place. I mean, the things that we gotta buy, and you feel what I'm saying, and the things that we gotta uh, um, uh, get in America to survive is like it's killing us. We don't got no time to sing and dance. We don't got no time to enjoy our day. You feel what I'm saying? We don't got no time to be great. We slaves. You know what I'm saying? We slaves in America, man. Our crown is falling from our head. Woe unto us, we just destroyed, right? That we have sinned. I mean, verse 17. For our heart is faint. For these things, our eyes, for these things, all of these things, our eyes are dim. You know what I'm saying? We just look at life with no light. Scripture say, you know what I'm saying, that the bright of the morning, the light of the morning is a sweet thing. We don't see that sweet thing in the morning. We wake up in the morning like, damn, I gotta go to work. We see Monday like, damn, I gotta go to work. Our eyes are dim. We just like, man, this some BS. You feel what I'm saying? We don't see the beauty in the day because we being extorted. They taking the good out of us and turning us into slaves. Every day we work for what? To pay the rent. For what? So we could live. Why ain't it free? Because you got to pay for it. Why? Because everything costs. Why can't it just be free? You feel what I'm saying? Because America has to grow. Somebody has to get money. They take this bottle of water. You buy 18 or 20 of them for $4, and then you sell each water for $1 and get $24 off something you spent $4 on. That's what America does. They upsell everything. You feel what I'm saying? And they make it where as though you can't afford nothing. But they know they could get this water for 20 cents. If that, the bottle costs more than the water. And you pay $2 for this bottle. $3, $4 for this bottle. It's insane. You know what I'm saying? Because of the mountain of Zion, which is desolate, is empty. Our house, our land is empty. Our people is empty, right? The mountain or the rulership of Zion, right? There is nobody in rulership of Zion. There is nobody telling us how to be great, or there's nobody standing for us or representing us as men or women. There's nobody representing us as Israel. Nobody except for the UPK. You know what I'm saying? But our mountain is desolate. It ain't nobody in position to tell our oppressor what we not gonna take. Ain't nobody in position to tell our oppressor what we not gonna do, right? Which is desolate. The foxes walk upon it. It's empty. Like nobody's sitting there in rulership telling, you know what I'm saying, telling Esau that we not working no more. We need a third day for the weekend. Ain't nobody there to do it, right? Thou, O Lord, remainest forever. Thy throne from generation to generation. Wherefore dost thou forget us forever? Why are you forgetting us? Oh, it's like it. Wherefore dost thou forget us forever and forsake us so long time? Turn thou us unto thee, O Lord, and we shall be turned. Renew our days of old. But thou hast utterly rejected us. Thou art very wroth against us. That's Jeremiah praying to the Most High, man. And he's like, man, this can't be us. This can't be life. It's because we forgot our job as Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. We forgot our purpose. We forgot what we here for. We here to serve the Most High. We here to have rulership. We here to rule the earth and make the earth a beautiful place. But because we want to fall victim to our flesh, everybody has to suffer. We all suffer because we are a victim or we are a slave to our sins. We are a slave to our addiction. You know what I'm saying? And because you're addicted to sinning, everybody has to suffer. Scriptures say the ground is in prison. It's concrete on the ground. The grass is locked up. We locked up. Everybody suffers. Animals locked up. You go to the zoo, see a bunch of locked up animals. They doing life in the zoo. You know what I'm saying? People doing life in jail. Slaves in jail. You know what I'm saying? Because the oppressor opened not the house of his prisoners. You know what I'm saying? Everybody suffers because we are addicted to sin. Man, look, do yourself a favor. If you got friends and family, loved ones, any loved ones in the city of Houston or anywhere, get in touch with the ISUPK and help them get out of hell. Help them get out of their captivity. Give them the opportunity to fix themselves or their self. Give us a call and free your mind. Black, Hispanic, and Native American, free your mind from the hell that you in. Free yourself out of the captivity. And let's help free everybody from this captivity. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't think it's possible, we done tried everything else. We'd have been Christian, we'd have been Muslim, we'd have been 7-Day Adventist, we'd have been give me some more, we'd have been everything. Islam, we'd have been goddamn, we Buddhist or niggas is Buddhist. We done been Baptist. We done been is 1,000 religions, 5%ers, but you never done what was right. You never done was proven to be a concrete way to save yourself. I done seen people get off of crack cocaine in the school. I done seen people stop selling crack cocaine in the school. You feel what I'm saying? Work on yourself. Fix yourself. Make yourself a better person to present to the Most High. Every day you fight that flesh. You feel what I'm saying? With that being said, this is the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. If a new brother or sister comes to the school, they offer them for 6 months. They to be saluted only. They here to shed themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months period, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, they got to seek counsel from the heads. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10 means 10th in Hebrew. My Asherah, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord give you. Get in touch with your camp leader or ISUPK.com, pay your tithes. Upcoming Holy Convocation is upcoming Holy Convocation is Hanukkah, which is December 7th. Which is an observation, you know what I'm saying, of Mordecai and Esther, right? If you want to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that being said, we're gonna give each other a salute. Men Israel, Madam Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Brakathum, Yajumatah, Saw, turn and face the sisters. Men of Israel, we're gonna give word courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shemar, Latah Bashem, Yahweh Shah. Class dismissed.